back on Honshu. Next in our road trip around Japan, we drove north off the island of Kyushu and started up Honshu's Sea of Japan coast. We'll visit Yamaguchi's stunning seaside shrine, a cat temple, Tsunoshima Ohashi, one of the 12 original castles, the Tottori Sand Dunes, and a bike ride along one of the Nihon Senkei, or Japan's 3 top views. This part of the road trip was in the Chugoku, or Central Region, but we'll get to the Kansai Region a little at the end. The Chugoku Region's prefectures include Tottori, Okayama, Shimane, Hiroshima, and Yamaguchi. The region is subdivided into the Sanyo region along the Seto Inland Sea and the less populated Sanin region along the Sea of Japan coast. These regions refer to 2 sides of the Chugoku mountain range, with the Sanin meaning the shaded side and Sanyo meaning the sunny side. Yamaguchi Prefecture, where we started, is considered part of the Sanyo region, except for maybe the northern bit. The rest of our stops will be in the more rural Sanin region, though despite its name, we found it to be beautifully sunny there as well. The first stop was Tsunoshima Bridge, or Tsunoshima Ohashi, a 1,780-meter bridge with a beautiful curved shape over bright blue water. This bridge is in the Kita Nagato Kaigan Quasi-National Park, so it was intentionally shaped like this to preserve the natural environment and avoid touching Hatoshima, an uninhabited island in the strait. It's relatively new, finished in 2000, but before that there was a ferry that made 7 round trips a day. We're gonna bike across the bridge. We forgot to get water, so we got barley tea in the water bottles today. There we go. The water was incredibly blue. Zeb says if he was a rat, he would live here on a little rat colony, a little private island. This was a short ride, just to kind of stretch our legs before a day in the car. But I would love to come back to swim at the beaches here. The island itself has less than 1,000 people living here, but the lighthouse and the beaches are popular to visit. The capital of this prefecture, Yamaguchi City, was chosen last year by the New York Times as one of 52 places to go in 2024. Nice little island. Yamaguchi is also known for blowfish, or fugu, a seafood delicacy famous for having the potential to kill you. Fugu has poison in its ovaries and liver, and it was banned in the 16th century after soldiers kept eating it and dying. Then in 1887, Ito Hirobumi, the first prime minister of Japan, ate blowfish while in Shimonoseki, and he was so impressed that he lifted the ban. Now it can be prepared and enjoyed as long as your chef has the proper license. There's not as much biking in this part of our road trip as we would have liked, mostly because we're running low on time to make it back to Ishikawa Prefecture. So after our little spin, we got back in the car and continued driving along the coast. Stopping next at the famous seaside shrine, Motonosumi Jinja. There was a line of cars waiting to get into the parking lot since this is clearly a popular spot. But the wait wasn't long, and soon we were able to get into the lot. There are 123 bright red torii gates that wind down to the ocean, making a beautiful contrast with the blue water. The shrine honors the white fox spirit, and it's popular to pray here for financial success, fishing success, and safety on the ocean. There's an offering box at the top of the tallest torii gate, and if you can toss your coin up into it, your wish will be granted. Try it again. Oh, you got it! There are good luck charms for sale, and goshuin, or special seals that you can get at temples and shrines. These were a little unusual in that there's no shrine attendant signing or dating them. The goods are sold by the honor system, so you just put the money in a box and take what you want. You can choose from 5 goshuin with options for love, happiness, fortune, wealth, and victory. Walking through the torii gate tunnel was so beautiful, with the sun filtering through the gates and the vibrant blue backdrop of the ocean. The Motonosumi Shrine mascot is a funny torii gate creature, too. We left Nagato in Yamaguchi Prefecture and continued towards Shimane Prefecture. I know this side is supposedly called the shady side of the Chugoku region, but the coast along the Sanyo region here was stunning. Our final stop in Yamaguchi was Unrinji, an unusual Rinzai Zen Buddhist temple dedicated to cats. It's been nicknamed Nekodera, or the Cat Temple. We drove a little bit farther into Hagi in Yamaguchi Prefecture, and we're at a cat temple now, and Zeb is so excited. This temple has been around for over 400 years, and it's a sub-temple of Tenjuin, which enshrines the daimyo Mori Terumoto. After Terumoto died in 1625, his retainer, Nagai Motofusa, committed ritual suicide. However, Motofusa had a cat, who is sadly said to have died from grief over his owner's death. The legend says that after Motofusa's cat died, his meows were still heard at night in the temple. One of the monks performed a memorial service for the cat's spirit, which finally stopped the meowing, and the cat's spirit was at peace. Today, this temple is full of cat motifs, and they still offer services for deceased pets. Oh my. There are cats everywhere. It was the most unique temple we'd ever been to, and we love cats, so we enjoyed it a lot. I didn't even notice him. Hello. Oh my. There was even a post box where you could write a letter to your pets who have passed away. We got another safe travels, another safe traffic omamori. That night we made it to Shimane Prefecture, where we were staying in a hostel. I'll show you the inside in a bit. We finished our drive and now we're in Shimane Prefecture for the first time. And our guest house is very modern and nice and clean. It's like a capsule hotel, and so we each have a bunk. I've got one in the women's room and Zeb has one in the guy's side. And now we're just kind of walking around Oda, trying to see what we want to get for dinner and see what's going on in this town. The city of Oda was pretty quiet, but it's home to Iwami Ginza Silver Mine, the largest silver mine in Japan's history, and Mount Sanbei, Shimane's tallest mountain. Just a couple little stoop kids. We've got some onigiri from the Lawson. It's easy and we're cheap today. This is outside the dorms, and while the accommodations were simple, it was very quiet, clean, and convenient. The beds were like a capsule hotel, and they came with a pillow, a blanket, a curtain, hangers, a little shelf, plenty of plugs, and a fan, which was nice to have. But tomorrow will be another big day on the road. We're driving through Shimane Prefecture, and we stopped at the Matsue Castle, which is another one of the original castles, so I brought my capsules today. It's this one in the corner right here. Matsue Castle is one of the 12 original castles remaining in Japan, and as I mentioned in a previous video, I painted all 12 castles as capsules. Matsue Castle is on Lake Shinji in Matsue's Riverside district, and is the only surviving original castle in the Sanyo region. It was completed in 1611. You have to pay to go inside, but admiring the castle from the outside is free. It's really impressive to be able to see this kind of history up close. It was also personally fun to be able to see my capsule and the real castle together in real life. I do have cards and stickers of these capsules and other watercolor stuff if you're interested, at thebluebike.art and on Etsy. This castle is really cool. Zeb says it might even be his favorite castle that we've seen so far, even more than Matsumoto. He is very cool. I like all the wood that you can still see. I would love to come back and walk the streets of Matsue another time. The river lining the streets was so peaceful. Next we reached Tottori Prefecture. We've been driving to Tottori Prefecture now from Shimane, and we're about to see the Tottori Sand Dunes. There's a sand museum near the visitor center. Yeah, why go to regular France when you could just go to Sand France? You can take the chairlift down from the parking lot for a small fee, or you can just walk. These trees are part of the efforts to keep the dunes from eroding. These Tottori sand dunes look unlike anything else in Japan, and were created over 100,000 years ago when sediment from the Sendai River was slowly deposited at the base of the Chugoku Mountains. Now they're 9 miles long and over a mile wide. Surprisingly, Tottori is the least visited prefecture in the whole country, with just 0.3% of overseas tourists in 2023 making a stop there. It's also the least populated prefecture. M12.
M12.
Look at how much sand there is. Now I guess we're gonna try to keep going and then make it to Kyoto Prefecture. Before getting back in the car, it was time for an ice cream break. I got an ujicha ice sando. Yum. Or a tea ice sandwich. I love ice cream. This is like ice cream and kakigori in one cup. The ice sando. I don't know what about it as a sandwich, but...
I guess it's ice cream sandwiched between ice. That's true, okay.
So it's a sandwich because there's kakigori sandwiching the ice cream. Something like that. We drove through Hyogo Prefecture and unfortunately didn't make a stop along their coast this time. But if you like castles, the other side of the prefecture is home to Himeji Castle, which we got to visit on our honeymoon in 2019. That one remains my favorite castle, I think. It took 2 hours to arrive in Kyoto Prefecture, in the city of Kyotango. Hello?
Hello?
It's chaotic in our car. Well, we made it to Kyoto Prefecture. We're at the hotel and we're gonna get ready to ride across Amanohashidate, one of the scenic Pine Island views. Ta-da! We changed. Now we're gonna go ride. As always, our routes and ride files are linked below. We were just staying in a roadside hotel, but that evening we wanted to ride over to see Amanohashidate, a pine-covered sandbar in Kyoto's Miyazu Bay. I should also mention that since we're in Kyoto Prefecture now, we're out of the Chugoku Region and into the Kansai Region of Japan. Amanohashidate is special because it's one of the Nihon Sankei, or Japan's 3 most scenic views. We got to see the Matsushima Islands earlier in this road trip, and the Tsunoshima Shrine Torii Gate in Miyajima is the 3rd view. These 3 views were made popular in the 1600s, after scholar Hayashi Gaho wrote poems about them. I definitely thought we would get rained on during this ride, but luckily we stayed dry. We went down to the southern side of the sandbar first, and there were a lot of people around the Amanohashidate station and the bridges there. If you have time, you can go up to a viewpoint by chairlift and monorail at the Amanohashidate Viewland behind the station. It's really pretty. As we rode along the sand, there were less and less people. It's about 3.5 kilometers long, so it would have been a long walk without bikes. Look at that. That brought snacks.
Gummy bears from our car.
Some melted gummy bears.
You can have Get a bite of that.
A gummy bear chunk. The view is nice though. This is a good manhole cover. It was cool to see this view by bike, and I was happy that we had the chance to see so many beautiful things on this part of the road trip. The next video will be the end of the trip, and more about what's next for us. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.